pop out concert. For those of us who had the privilege of attending, what a show you were privileged to see. What a show you were privileged to see. Some people say that this is that legendary moment that hip hop has been waiting for. This real powerful moment that we saw with Kendrick Lamar. And, I think the big takeaway that we love is that Kendrick Lamar brought the gangs together. I think that was the big takeaway, and I was talking to a friend of mine down in Leimert Park. I was sitting in front of one of our spots. Shouts out to the Aura Cafe, one of my more favorite spots in the Leimert Park community. But I'm talking to a friend of mine at the Aura Cafe, and it was an interesting conversation because we talked about Juneteenth and we talked about the pop out, the Kendrick Lamar pop out. And so the reason why we don't have no clips today is because I wanted to have a genuine conversation. And for those of y'all who are not, on the way to work that are still with me, I appreciate you being with me. I'm streaming home from the house today, but I want to have a conversation about this concept of gang truces and what hip hop's role has been in facilitating gang truces. Okay, so we got a little bit of time. We could really have a really good conversation about this. So, what's up to all of my Instagram folks? We are broadcasting from his house today. Welcome to the show, 90.7 KPFK. This is your girl, Ife Jai, aka Dr. J. You can always join me online on YouTube at Street Sankofa Sessions, or you can join me on Instagram at IFEXJIE. So much love to all my fam bam holding me down. So we're talking about hip hop and gang truces. I was inspired. I saw the pop out clips. I didn't go to the concert. Let's keep it real. I didn't go to the concert. The way I celebrate Juneteenth is by not doing anything. I like to sit at home and celebrate my freedom doing whatever the heck I want to do. Okay. But this year in the city of Los Angeles, there were quite a few Juneteenth events. I want to give first and foremost love to my guy Six Sev down in Leimert Park, and AKA Africa Town, who's been doing a Juneteenth celebration for years in our community. So thank you, Six Sev, for continuously and consistently doing that work in our community. I want to also shout out the folks that did Juneteenth last year in Leimert Park and AKA Africa Town. It was a collective of people last year. And I don't necessarily want to name names because I don't know everybody's name. But I know there was a collective of people, and I know there was some money involved. And so folks got some resources to do some really cool thing, which is always a good thing as long as we benefit from it. And it's not something that's a result of our exploitation, right? But much love to the folks who did the last year Juneteenth festival. And that festival was so successful. And some people in the city of Los Angeles had some real opinions about maybe some of the controversy around that festival. We're not getting into that. But this year, what we wanted to get into is what did LA do for Juneteenth? And LA popped out, baby. Yes, we did. Oh, we popped out. We popped all the way out. We popped so far out that we literally impacted the entire hip hop global community. And the theme for 2024 has become They Not Like Us. So much love to Kendrick Lamar. And one thing that everybody saw on the world global stage was a coming together, a kumbaya moment, if you will, a truce, a quelling of beefs, of squashing of previous problems and ills, a peaceful union between the different tribes that exist here in the city of Los Angeles. And yeah, I call them tribes because I do believe, like my brother, Dr. Robin D.G. Kelly, that there's something very African about our collective gathering and our umbrella that we all gather under, and we wear a certain flavor and have a certain style. That's something beautiful there. Now, much of what we see and what we experience in the United States of America, unfortunately, is exploited in this country. And so tribalism gets exploited into gang banging and so many different things. And so that's why we want to have this conversation, because as I watch Kendrick Lamar and I see this gang truce moment, this peaceful union moment, I can't help but first and foremost, say how beautiful of a scene to be able to see, and I'm not going to say no names because I'm from South Central Los Angeles and I know the rules, baby. But to see the different tribes representing literally on stage together, breaking bread, showing love, all under the umbrella of being from the city of Los Angeles and really being proud to be Black and proud. I think there's a level of that we can honestly say that Pop Out gave us. And much love to all of my Instagram folks that's joining me. Much love to all of my folks on YouTube. And for all of my listeners that are listening in 90.7 KPFK, please come and join the conversation with me. 818-985-5735, 818-985-5735. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and put that up on our 818-985-5735. And that is our call-in line. And y'all know I love to be able to have your commentary because I know I'm not alone in this moment. So let's get into the conversation. What is the conversation? The conversation as we take our street Sankofa today is, have we ever seen this before? Have we ever seen hip hop music be responsible for bringing together our tribal communities here in the city of Los Angeles? 818-985-5735. The conversation is about hip hop's relationship to gang truces. And this brings up a whole Pandora's box in a way of a conversation. And yeah, we don't have any clips today, but I think we're going to talk about it. And I did want to bring in a clip, Gary. I'll be honest with you. There's a song by a group of West Coast artists. Shouts out King T. Shouts out Yo Yo. You can't play with my Yo Yo. Y'all remember Yo Yo? Shouts out to Ice-T, Cypress Hill, Be Real, Cam, MC8. Y'all know these OGs, these South Central, West Coast, Los Angelinos. Back in 1992, and this is the Street Sankofa. Here we go, y'all. Back in 1992, there was a song that was put out. And the song was called Get the Fist. And Gary, I was going to play this song for us, but I couldn't edit the clip fast enough. I have to be very honest with you. So if there's a way for you to pull the clip with your magical, magical fingers, then by all means, it's a song by MC8, King T, Yo Yo, Ice-T, Be Real. And the song is called Get the Fist. Now, most of you that are listening, that are watching, that are joining me are going to say, I ain't never heard that song before. And you know why? Here goes the Street Sankofa. There's the reason why you've never heard this song. So I want to take a step back and paint a picture for us. First and foremost, one of the things that I am very passionate about is noting how powerful hip hop music really, really is. And one of the things that we have to remember is that this music is magic. It's magic. And you could think of the rapper or the artist and his DJ as almost a bit of a combination of juju sauce, if you will. Okay. And so we're talking about this moment where we see hip hop have a direct relationship to inspiring and invoking peace and unity amongst our tribes, especially here in the city of Los Angeles. Shouts out to my folks on Instagram. Jizz, I dish too. Didn't Tupac once try to get the Crips and the Bloods to call a truce too? That's probably right. Tupac probably did, because anybody in their right mind sees that, and I say this in some of my music, gangsters just are shooting at the wrong people. They're shooting at each other. And we really should be fighting against our oppression. That's the most gangster thing that we could do. And those of you who've been listening to me for this journey Know that we had a whole episode on that. The most gangster thing you could do is to stand in the front of oppression to be like, I'm not having it. Now that's gangster. So any gangsta, real revolutionary minded individual that has responsibility as an artist on the microphone is definitely going to cause an increase and inspire and want to invoke peace. And Kendrick Lamar is absolutely one of these guys. But we've seen this before. And that's the Street Sankofa journey. This is what I want y'all to know. We saw this in 1992. MC8, King T, Yo Yo, Cam, Ice T, Be Real, and a few other artists got together in 1992. And they created a song called Get the Fist. And the song was amazing. The song literally has a verse in it which says, I never seen Crips and Bloods come together in the Nickerson Gardens. Oh, it's gangster. Oh, it's real gangster. And I wish I could play it for you on the program today. Maybe Gary can find a way for us to do it. But we saw a moment where hip hop literally brought the tribes of Los Angeles together through a song called Get the Fist. Now, the question becomes why we don't know about this song. And the reason why I wanted to have a conversation, 818-985-5735, 818-985-5735. I hope y'all are with me this moment, this morning. Most of us is off of work, and I know a lot of our listeners like to listen in on the way to work. So thank you for those of you who are still tuning in. You know, hip hop definitely is our technology, my brother. Thank you for those of you who are joining me on my Instagram conversation. We're always going live on IFEXJIE. I really appreciate if you follow me. But the truth is that hip hop is a magical, magical, magical tool, y'all. Music is a magical tool. As I was sitting out in front of the new Aura Cafe, the old hot and cool cafe right there in Leimert Park, talking to one of my colleagues, one of my buddies out there, and we're talking about how magical music is. And we see this moment of Kendrick Lamar going on the stage and bringing several tribes of people together in a very beautiful gesture. He even put Tommy the Clown on now. Now, y'all know you really from LA, you know about Tommy the Clown. Clown breaking on down. Matter of fact, somebody find me a way. I want one of my kids to be in Tommy the Clown's crew, you know? But we're talking about how hip hop has a relationship to really building and creating peace. There's a real revolutionary spirit within hip hop. And as much as we want to deny it, our bodies, our, what we would say, oris, our spirits are craving it. And the reason why we're craving is because when we've seen it before, it didn't last. And so it's refreshing when we see it again. But the Street Sankofa that we take today is to remind us, yo, we've seen a moment where hip hop music, no doubt, was responsible for bringing the tribes together in the city of Los Angeles. Now let's go back and get some context. What was happening in LA? Why that time? Well, for those of us who are from the city of Los Angeles, and for those of us who remember that time in the 1992, all right, Gary, you the man, yo. Couldn't do this without you. Y'all know we can't do this without Gary. He got to get the fist queued up, man. Let's get it. All right, so let me give a little context, Gary. Then I want to play some, and let's play a little bit, and we'll talk a little bit. Let's play a little bit. We'll talk a little bit because the song, if we got a good version of it. Now, keep in mind, Gary, you might want to make sure I'm clean, man. Don't set me up, man. Make sure it's clean. It might get a few drops, but I know the first verse is a clean verse. And I think Yo-Yo's verse is clean too. So we're good after Yo-Yo. I can't call it though. After Yo-Yo, I can't call it. But here's the thing, 1992, it's the year of the Los Angeles riots. For those of us who are in the loop of historical rebellions, historical revolutions, we should consider the Los Angeles rebellion one of those moments. We see our city absolutely go up in flames. It was a day that it literally rained ashes, a day I'll never forget. And yes, I was alive at the 1992 riots. I was a young girl, very young girl. But I remember seeing ashes rain from the sky. And here's the thing about the LA riots. What were the riots about? Remember Natasha Harlan? Remember her? She was a young black girl that was killed by a Korean store owner. And when the woman committed the crime, she was no doubt arrested and charged, but she was not convicted. And that woman ended up just having, guess what? The repercussion of community service. That woman did not go to jail for killing Natasha Harlins. And so that was the beginning of a dissension in the city of Los Angeles. We was like, oh no, they did not. Yes, they did. And then we had Rodney King. And to my dear who was joining me in our conversation earlier on Instagram, Jiz, there was a moment where Tupac was very much involved with Natasha Harlins. He was a popular artist at the time. And I feel like he might even did some campaign work around her and advocacy about raising awareness about what happened to her. This girl walked into a store and essentially was murdered broad daylight. And the store owner who murdered her literally got off scot-free. I think she might have paid a fine, might have did community service, but it wasn't prison. And so in the city of Los Angeles, people were disgusted by the death of Natasha Harlins. And then you had Rodney King. My goodness. Now, here's the fun thing about Rodney King. Shouts out to everybody listening. This is 90.7 KPFK, and this is your girl, Ife Jai, aka Dr. J. We are on a street Sankofa today, y'all. This is 4th of July. For those of you who celebrated, just be safe, do what you do. But this is a day also that I wanted to take time to talk about hip hop's relationship to revolution. Now, for those of us who are really on that gangster, I encourage you to watch the speech by legendary historical figure Frederick Douglass. He has a speech entitled, "What is 4th of July to the Slave?" But I'm not going to get into that. Maybe we'll get into that on Sunday brunch edition of Cut to the Chase when I'm with my guy, Sly Rivers, Sunday at 11 a.m. right here on 90.7 FM KPFK as well. But today we're talking about hip hop's relationship to gang truces, to tribe truces, especially here in Los Angeles. People talk a lot of mess about hip hop causing problems, and that's true. And we're going to be critical. What up, Khadijah? What's going on, family? This is another episode of Street Sankofa. We are tuned in live. And for those of you who are joining me online, if you want to listen to the program, you can listen to the program at kpfk.org. And we're always loving your support because this is a community listener supported station. And so I always encourage folks to become a subscriber, you know? So dial in if you want to join the conversation, even for my Instagram family. Miss you, love you, love you. Y'all can join the conversation too. It's 7 a.m. out here in the city of Los Angeles, but call in 818-985-5735, 818-985-5735. Remember, we are everywhere at 90.7 KPFK. And of course, if you're going to kpfk.org, you're listening to us worldwide. But today on this episode of Street Sankofa, we are talking about hip hop's relationship to truce building and to gang culture. And I was on my street Sankofa, going back and remembering that in 1992, the Los Angeles riots was a glorious moment of resistance. You know, it was a glorious moment. It was a moment where we saw Rodney King literally. Now, here's the fun thing that I was saying to y'all earlier. Here's the fun thing about Rodney King. Rodney King was beat up by Los Angeles Police Department. And the fun thing is that in 1992, there were no camera phones. People weren't walking around with video equipment at their ready to be able to catch a glimpse of something popping right off the top, right? I'm building us up, Gary, because we're going to play this song, man. People didn't have cameras. And in court, you would really have to do your diligence as a attorney to really find fault with our police department in this country, let alone in this country, definitely in Los Angeles. So where were the evidence? What was the evidence? What was the things that were going to put the nail in the coffin, if you will, to really convict these brutal police officers? Because his face and his body and his scars were not good enough to prove criminal activities had transpired. That wasn't good enough. It just made me think of Emmett Till's bloody face and how the proof, my Lord, is so much in the pudding here in this country. But that's another conversation. But the truth of the matter is that we see this moment. We see this moment where this man is beat up brutally. And we live in a time where folks don't necessarily have camera phones, but lo and behold, somebody is in the bushes. Somebody saw this event happening and they pulled out. It's one of these old school cameras, the ones that you put your hand in the little glove and, in the little kind of holder part. You got to hold it up to your eye and got to flip the look. Y'all remember them cameras. At least it wasn't the one where you had to put on your shoulder. That's real old school. But they pulled out a camera, a real life camera. And what did they do? They recorded the entire moment. They recorded the entire beating. And they got every single blow, punch, kick, dirty word, horrible saying. Oh, they captured it all for the world to see. The footage was undeniable. These men had senselessly beat Rodney King almost to death. Almost to death. And Rodney King gave us, "Can't we all get along?" Y'all remember that? That was his thing. Can't we just all get along? But what happens? The people, okay, Gary got me hold it down. All right, I'm on your time, Gary. So let's play a little bit and we'll play a little bit. You let me know how you want to do it because we're gonna play a little bit of this song. We gotta let the people hear it in real time, man. We talking it up. So we gotta play it. We gotta put it in rotation. So I'm on your time, however you want to do it, Gary. Okay. I'll give you a setup though when we're ready to rock. I'll give you a setup. So here's the story. I'm telling the story. It's story time with Dr. J. Story time. So here we are in the story. The men are captured on camera. They're beating the mess out of Rodney King. I mean, absolutely just destroying this man's face, destroying this man's spirit. And when it was all said and done, these police officers absolutely get arrested. And they, no doubt, are put on trial. And this was the trial of the year, baby. Y'all know this is how Kim Kardashian got the Kardashian name so fabulous. It's because of, oh no, that was because of OJ. I'm sorry, wrong criminal, wrong black man. But Rodney King, I got to look up who's Rodney King's attorney. I got to look that up. But Rodney King goes to trial. And they're trying to accuse these men. They're trying to hold them accountable of police brutality. And it's no doubt. It's clear. We got the camera footage. This is one of the rare moments, especially in the 90s, where you actually have real documentation of a police brutality moment. It's like these things happen, but you never see it for real. But this time we saw it for real. And everybody saw this footage. I remember seeing the footage even as a little girl. You can Google the footage, even YouTube it. Rodney King beating. It's still available to see. So the police officers, they're on trial. And this is a long, lengthy, very lengthy trial. I remember being in school, in elementary school, the day of the verdict came down. Cops on trial for the beating of Rodney King. The verdict is finally announced. And what is the verdict? Y'all know the drill. This is America. They were not found guilty. With all the footages in all the world, even at a time in the 90s where something like this is unheard of, we couldn't even appreciate the value of the footage alone. In 2024, somebody could AI the footage of some crap like that, and we wouldn't even have the digital discernment to know the difference. But in 1992, it was no question that this footage was there. And you know what the streets did in the city of Los Angeles? Do you know what South Central Los Angeles did? We showed out. And it's 4th of July. So shouts out for everybody 4th of July. But as I mentioned to you before, those of you who really about that life, look up Frederick Douglass's speech. What is 4th of July to the slave? Many of us are still fighting to get our minds back. Literally, y'all do know that we lost our mind when they put us on those boats. What Dr. Marimba Ani calls the Ma'afa, we lost our mind. And we still losing our minds. And we trying our best, those of us who know, to regain our minds, what I call our sense of African consciousness. But the truth is that there is a moment where these police officers were not held accountable, and the city of Los Angeles let it be known we were not having it. We were disenchanted. We were upset. We were disgruntled. We were displeased, and this ain't it. And the thing about California, and I'm not going to say California because I'm not from California. I'm from South Central Los Angeles. I can't speak on Cali in totality because y'all do know Cali is huge. But the thing about Los Angeles that's always been the fear is what happens when gangsters, quote unquote, gangsters, turn revolutionary. When they turn their weapons from one another and they turn their weapons towards a political action or cause. I dare think that scared the crap out of America. And I think what put the cherry over the top, and this is me, and I want y'all to talk to me this morning, 818-985-5735, 818-985-5735. I think what put the cherry on top is that then we went and made a song about it. And we used our Ashe as hip-hop artists. We used our Ashe as hip-hop artists to bring attention to this issue. And for a real moment in the city of Los Angeles, we had peace and we had hip-hop be a real orchestrator of that peace. Gary, let's get into that clip. I want y'all to listen to some of this song. You Can Get the Fist, a Los Angeles, South Central Los Angeles theme song about the Los Angeles riots.
It seems to me that there's some sort of master plan here because they're watching, like you're saying, they're watching them burn these houses. They're not doing anything about it.
Get a taste of the heat while I burn down the street. Trying to recognize who wore the white sheet. Gassing me up and I'm fighting because they got me. Known as a king, knowing what they did to Rodney. How do you know that you was open season on my race? I'm black and I'm proud to be looking in your face. Because I'm real smart. You see, it's a plan to lock up and shut down the black man.
Yeah, you can play that role like you ain't with it if you want to, but it's on till the break of dawn. I said it's just a few good men when we were fighting. I guess it'll be more good men and now we're united. Now all of a sudden they want to bring in troops. Niggas in my hood been loose and bucking food. But now we're getting wiser. You can tell by the cries that the better the war is on us.
They don't call us gangsters.
What happened to the drive-by killings? Ain't nothing popping no more because brothers now chilling. From every hood, the block, the corner, the street. Now black on black, the other color gets beat. I guess it's time for brothers to turn a page and let out some rage and finger card page and shit. If she ain't got the pale face, running scared. Gang of blue, fuck the white, down with the red. At the time, I thought it couldn't hurt, so I became a jacking expert. Look and still end up dead, cause shooting up a crowd that fucking pick in the blue that.
There you go. We had to give you just a little taste. We love y'all. I hope we didn't start no problems, Gary. Love you, Gary. Love you, Mike. Hey, Terry. Love y'all. This is another episode, 90.7 KPFK of your girl, Ife Jai. We on a mission, aka Dr. J, taking a street Sankofa this morning, y'all. I was inspired this Juneteenth. We celebrated another year of what's now a federal holiday. You know, Juneteenth is the day that the last Africans found out that days will freeze. And I say it like that jokingly because y'all know we still on a variation of a plantation, if you will. But the truth of the matter is that Juneteenth is a day of celebration of freedom. And this year in the city of Los Angeles, we were blessed, I think, as a culture to see a legendary moment happen right here in our backyard in the SoFi Stadium, up the street from my house, not too far. The Pop Out concert. One of my favorite lines from the concert, as they begin, they say, LA got something to say. Y'all know how they got that from Outkast, who said that same line, you know, at an award show a long time ago. The South got something to say. Well, LA got something to say. And I even take that a step further and I say, LA women, real Black girls, stand up. Real brown girls, real B girls, stand up. Real women got something to say from LA too. And no diss to the women that are out here in the rap game. No diss. And I'm not going to get on that. That's going to be next episode. But on Juneteenth, we see the Pop Out show. And what we saw on the Pop Out show was Kendrick Lamar bring a whole community of Los Angelinos together on stage. 90.7 KPFK, you are tuned in to another episode of Street Sankofa with your girl Ife Jai, aka Dr. J. If you are tuning in with me, you are free to call in 818-985-5735, 818-985-5735. I would love to hear your conversation. We've seen hip hop orchestrate a gang truce before. We saw that in 1992 with the LA riots. We saw that with the song You Can Get the Fist, which we're going to play part 2 from. But first, I want to get to my caller that's called in from Pasadena really quickly. But we saw hip hop in 1992 orchestrate a gang truce. It was a moment where the city was pissed because of the lack of justice that was given to Rodney King after he was brutally beaten by the Los Angeles Police Department. They beat him brutally. The police got off and the city burnt it down. And what did we do as hip hop? We wrote a song about it. And this song would have been in rotation almost instantly after the riots occurred, after the rebellion occurred. But there was a reason why they didn't want this song to be heard. And it's a reason why we're not realizing that hip hop has orchestrated gang truces before. Hip hop has been a real sense of community building, peace building, of bridge building, of revolutionary work. Hip hop is a tool, y'all. And we saw that in 1992 with the song, You Can Get the Fist. We played a little clip of it earlier. Let's get to Marcellus in Pasadena. And I want to play another clip of the song for you after our caller. Welcome to the show, Street Sankofa, 90.7 KPFK. You are tuned in. Can you hear me now? Caller, you still with me? Okay, I think we might have lost our guy, but that's all right. We're gonna keep on going. Gary, I don't know if Marcellus is still with me from Pasadena, but let's keep on mashing, man. I want to get into this part 2 of the song. Can we get into the part 2 of the song? Let's get into it. This is the song that hip hop created as a response to the 1992 riots. And it was a moment where you saw the different tribes in South Central Los Angeles come together all for a moment of social justice and activism. We was not different tribes. We were one tribe in the city of Los Angeles. We were all African people, Black people, new African people. Whatever you want to call us, we was that, all on the same page on this moment. And hip hop responded with a song. Gary, let's get into part 2 of the song.
Best thing is for everybody to say what they feel and not hold back. I mean, that's the only way you get it through to people is to say what you feel. If you say. Hey ye, y'all come kick it, man. I never thought I'd see 1,000 grips in the Nickerson joint. My manners. I saw the Bloods and Crips waving big black banners, bandana, tie, straps on that side. Cause in the project, there was a lot of black pride. And I remember the time I couldn't enter my page. Cause if you were slipping, your enemy come and gate ya. It's the Cam, and what's up, damn? This is like a dream, it feels good. Cause every hood is on the same team, arch rivals. Got the 5 votes kind of nervous. They laying in the cut, but I know they want to circus, and I'm certain it's hurting Daryl Gates. He'd rather have a brother pressing California license plates while the media gets greedier for ratings. It's 12 o'clock at night, but I'm rolling gold Dayton's, and it's cool, cause ain't nobody tripped but the cops. Deep G fakes coming from the rag top.
Chief, you gotta excuse my handwriting.
It took more than a letter, the fools locked together, but that goes to show you never say never. I seen the tape, I didn't have to see it twice, never seen nothing like it in my life. 12th line, Mike says it's the end, will we didn't make it friends with Mr. Chin. From the dirt to the streets to the avenues, way deep in the zoo. Would you believe not guilty, the filthy devils tried to kill me. When the needs get to the hood, the niggas will be out of entire young pepper. Rush, bust, kicking up dust, it's a must. I can't trust a cracker in a blue uniform. Stick a nigga like a unicorn. Born, wicked, Lord.
All right, 90.7 KPFK. This is your girl, Ife Jai. You are tuned in. Join me if you are in the state of California. We are 90.7 KPFK right here in Los Angeles, 90.3 in San Diego. And if you want to listen worldwide, you can always join me on kpfk.org. Shouts out to all of my folks. I'm having some real Instagram issues right now. Shouts out to my folks that are joining me on the Instagram feed, IFEXJIE. And of course, those of you who are joining the conversation on YouTube, you are more than welcome to call in. Everybody's welcome. We're having a conversation today, 818-985-5735, 818-985-5735. This is 4th of July. For those of us who are celebrating, especially those of us in the city of Los Angeles, I want to bring us in with the spirit of unity. We celebrated Juneteenth just a few weeks ago, and we saw Kendrick Lamar do an amazing show, the pop-out show. Sometimes you got to pop out and show. You know what I'm saying? And he did pop out. Not only did he pop out, but he popped out and he brought all of Los Angeles with him. Black, brown, blue, boo, baby, everybody was there. Even Tommy the Clown was on deck. And it was a moment where we saw hip-hop orchestrate peace in our communities. And not to say that LA is always turned up, because I want to say this before I forget to say this. And I think, Gary, we can get into that last clip with Frederick Douglass, because I want to leave y'all with something to think about. The reason why we didn't hear that song, You Can Get the Fist, after the 1992 riots, after the 1992 rebellion, was because it was very powerful. There was a moment where you see, I think that was Cam's verse. I never seen Bloods and Crips get together in the Nickerson Gardens. Yo, that was big. And y'all got to think about it. 1992, that's the height. That's the definite era of real gangsters. Real gangsters. And that's the kind of era that I remember, right? Got me a little PTSD down. I ain't gonna front. But I remember gang banging when gang banging was gang banging. And in 1992, we saw gang bangers, gangsters, tribesmen turn their weapons from one another and turn their weapons toward a common enemy. And that was those who were continuously ignoring our plight of what it was like to be Black in the city of South Central Los Angeles. We had already saw the murder of Natasha Harlan. We had already saw the Korean store owner get off scot free. I mean, this lady literally killed this young teenage girl. And shout out to my sister who was joining us before, because I want to say Tupac was talking about it. And then a few years later, we get Rodney King, and they beat Rodney King senselessly and caught it on tape, caught it on camera. Remember camcorders? Camcorders, caught it on camcorder, which was big because this is an era where people weren't walking around with cell phones. You didn't have video technology at your fingertips. So for his beat team to be caught on camera and the police officers to still not be charged with a guilty verdict, the city of Los Angeles said, oh, absolutely not. We're not going to stand for that. We're going to let y'all know that we are absolutely not going to be a part of that. We don't believe in that. We want justice, and we want it now. And we're going to burn the city down and get your attention so that you can see that we're not playing with y'all. Because what? We real out here in these streets. It's a scary thing when we stop turning our guns to each other and we start turning our guns to our oppressors. When gangsters turn revolutionaries, ooh, you talking about some people that are going to get nervous. And what did hip hop do in response? Hip hop wrote a song about it. And the song is called You Can Get the Fist. And it has so many hip hop legends on it. I'm talking about MC8, Cam, Yo Yo, Ice-T, Be Real. All of these folks are on this song. And the song never was released. Now, some of us, as we conclude on the tail end of our conversation, and you're more than welcome to join the conversation, 818-985-5735, 818-985-5735. Some of us know why this song wasn't ever released. Because hip hop has a very real direct relationship with activism. It is magic. And you can use hip hop, you can use music to inspire anything, any vibration. Pick a vibration, find a song to it, you will invoke that energy. And that's the same for change and revolutionary energy as well. And hip hop has a wonderful relationship to it. We saw it with Kendrick Lamar. But when we saw it in 1992, we also saw the beginning of what we learned, that the Black Panther Party learned, that the cultural nationalists learned, that the Black Liberation Movement learned, that COINTELPRO is real. And that there are people in this culture, in this society, in this political economy that don't necessarily want to see certain things survive, succeed, find the light of day. And hip hop, revolutionary hip hop, is one of those things. So I dare say, and you heard it, I'm saying it, I think there's a hip hop COINTELPRO. I do think that there's a hip hop COINTELPRO. And I think that that has something to do with why music like what we saw in 1992 did not get explicitly distributed. But even more importantly, keep your eyes and your antennas on the city of Los Angeles, especially after we saw our boy Kendrick Lamar do such a powerful moment of union and unity building in our community. Let's just watch and see. Let's see. Because I'll tell you what they did back in 1992 after the truce. Because the hip hop COINTELPRO and the COINTELPRO definitely was in effect, especially after we had this song come out, You Can Get the Fist. We got some callers calling in. Let's get on to it. Jessica from Ventura, are you on the line with me?
I'll tell you what they did back in 1992 after the
I don't think I can hear you well. Let's get Jessica from Ventura. I believe you're on the line. Gary, do we have her on? Jessica, hello? Are you there? I heard her for 2 seconds. Hello, hello. Jessica, if you're still there, I'm so excited to talk to you. 818-985-5735. 985-5735. You are more than welcome to join the conversation no matter where you are in the world. If you are on the YouTube with me, if you're on Facebook with me, or Instagram, IFEXJIE, you are welcome to join the conversation. We're talking about hip hop's relationship to tribe truces. What happens when hip hop is being used? How powerful is it? How precious is it? When we see examples of it being used as a tool for unity, especially with amongst the tribesmen of the city of Los Angeles, it's big, it's huge. And the street Sankofa that we're taking today, we remember that this is not something that's new. We've seen hip hop do it before. Let's get back to our callers. Let's go back to Jessica. Let's go to Jessica. Jessica, are you there?
Hello?
There you are, my dear. How are you today?
Hey, can you hear me?
Thanks for calling in. Welcome to Street Sankofa.
Oh, God. All right. Well, if you can hear me, I just wanted to comment. You said something about the speech or essay, I'm not sure which of, what is the 4th of July to a slave. I just love that you're talking about that. It is a personal tradition of mine to listen to that on the 4th of July, as you
Right
call it,
on. Right on.
which I like. My least favorite holiday. And so happy to have you on the air and talking about things that need to be talked about. That is all.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you. I appreciate you calling in, Jessica. Definitely stay with us. We love having our community support. We can't do this show without you. So thank you for calling in, and thank you for being a consistent listener. So yeah, 4th of July. You know what, Jessica? Let's get into a little bit of this speech before we close out our show. But I want to get our next caller in. Marcellus from Pasadena. I'm so sorry. If you're still on the line, I'd love to hear
Okay, I'm
your
gonna talk real
commentary.
fast, okay?
Yeah, let's get
Now,
into it. Welcome to
one of the
Street
reasons
Sankofa.
why cops are not prosecuted because of the fact that the judge told the jury that if a cop says that he felt that he was in danger of being killed, he
Right.
has the right to kill someone.
There you
That's
go.
what the jury's instructions are given by the judge if a cop says he's in danger. Now,
Yeah.
under the Rodney King situation, yes, they were acquitted, but under Daddy Bush and his attorney general, they were prosecuted for the violation of civil rights under the color of authority. Okay, but they served time in a country club. But under
In a country
Obama's
club.
administration, a black man was killed in his bed by cops that broke the door down when his medical alert button was hit by accident.
Wow.
Then I questioned the lawyer representing them, and they said that the cops said that they felt they were in danger. So under Obama's administration, with a black attorney general, Eric Holder, they have jurisdiction over all police. Obama's administration did not convict some police officers in White Plains, New York, for killing a 77-year-old man in his bed, and no prosecution. So
My
the
Lord.
problem is judges tell the jury that if the cop says that he feels he's in danger, he has the
Then
right
he's
to
off
kill him.
scot-free.
Daddy
Well, I will
Bush is
say
the only
this.
president that prosecuted anybody under the violation of civil rights on the color of authority. Obama's administration didn't do anything, and they had a black attorney general.
Interesting. Thank you, Marcellus from Pasadena, for calling in. Interesting commentary. This brother is saying, didn't nobody go to jail until Trump got in office. That's when Trump started holding people accountable, and that's when the city started when the country started holding people accountable. And I want to say this, and I want to be very clear: this system is racist, y'all, and finding justice in this system is a very, very curious feat. It's a very curious feat, and even if we celebrate a day like this, we have to remember the way that this country was created. We have to remember that when something is built on shaky foundation, the results of what's produced is not going to be firm and solid. It too is going to be shaky. And so when we see the political economy of 1992 and we see these police officers be acquitted for police brutality that was clearly evidence to prove otherwise, we see that hip hop has something to say about it. The same way Los Angeles had something to say on Juneteenth with Kendrick Lamar at the Pop Out. And as y'all celebrate 4th of July today, I want to close out the show with a clip Even though he's not a hip hop head, he definitely could be considered a hip hop pioneer and hip hop godfather. The legendary literary critic, literary contributor, political analyst, political writer, political commentary, revolutionary, abolitionist, the legendary Frederick Douglass. What to the slave is 4th of July. This has been another episode of Street Sankofa. I love y'all. I'll see you next Thursday. Same time, same place, 90.7 KPFK.
Fellow citizens, pardon me, and allow me to ask, why am I called upon to speak here today? What have I, or those I represent, to do with your national independence? Are the great principles of political freedom and of natural justice embodied in that Declaration of Independence extended to us? And am I, therefore, called upon to bring our humble offering to the national altar and to confess the benefits and express devout gratitude for the blessings resulting from your independence to us? I am not included within the pale of this glorious anniversary. Your high independence only reveals the immeasurable distance between us. The blessings in which you this day rejoice are not enjoyed in common. The rich inheritance of justice, liberty, prosperity, and independence bequeathed by your fathers is shared by you, not by me. The sunlight that brought life and healing to you has brought stripes and death to me. This 4th of July is yours, not mine. You may rejoice, I must mourn. To drag a man in fetters into the grand illuminated temple of liberty and call upon him to join you in joyous anthems were inhuman mockery and sacrilegious irony. Do you mean, citizens, to mock me by asking me to speak today? What to the American slave is your 4th of July? I answer, a day that reveals to him more than all other days of the year the gross injustice and cruelty to which he is a constant victim. To him, your celebration is a sham. Your boasted liberty, an unholy license. Your national greatness, swelling vanity. Your sounds of rejoicing are empty and heartless. Your denunciation of tyrants, brass-fronted impudence. Your shouts of liberty and equality, hollow mockery. Your prayers and hymns, your sermons and thanksgivings, with all your religious parade and solemnity, are to him mere bombast, fraud, deception, impiety, and hypocrisy, a thin veil to cover up crimes that would disgrace a nation of savages. There's not a nation of the earth guilty of practices more shocking and bloody than are the people of these United States at this very hour. At a time like this, scorching irony, not convincing argument, is needed. Oh, had I the ability and could reach the nation's ear, I would today pour forth a stream, a fiery stream of biting ridicule, blasting reproach, withering sarcasm, and stern rebuke. For it is not light that is needed, but fire. It is not the gentle shower, but thunder. We need the storm, the whirlwind, the earthquake. The feeling of the nation must be quickened. The conscience of the nation must be roused. The propriety of the nation must be startled. The hypocrisy of the nation must be exposed, and the crimes against God and man must be proclaimed and denounced.
90.7 KPFK, Los Angeles.
From New York, this is Democracy Now!
What to the American slave is your 4th of July? I answer, a day that reveals to him more than all